Unstoppable KickAss Confidence. Are you ready?
Welcome to the Raw and Unscripted show with Christopher Rausch, where we help you overcome your self-created crap without the self-help fluffy bullshit. Now please welcome our host, Christopher Rausch.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Raw and Unscripted with Christopher Rausch, your place where I help you overcome your self-created crap without the self-help fluffy bullshit. And on today's episode, we're going to be talking about a very important topic. It's part of the foundational building blocks of truly becoming unstoppable, and it's a core component, and that component is confidence. Now, you may be confident in certain areas and not confident in other areas, but hopefully you're not arrogant. We're going to talk about that a little bit. But most importantly, where does confidence come from? Confidence comes from the fact that we do shit and we get better at it, and we get to know that we're going to be certain in the fact that we're going to be able to do it. So if you're a tennis player, if you're a golfer, if you're a sports car driver, if you're a lyricist, if you're a guitar player, you want to have confidence in those things. But more importantly, you want to know that you have the confidence to tackle other things that you might not be comfortable with. And that's really important. So when you think about confidence, where does it come from? Again, it comes from starting things and doing things repetitively over and over again to become better. And where do we learn that? When we're kids, we have to learn a bunch of stuff. We come out kicking and screaming. We have to learn how to breathe. We have to learn how to roll over. We have to learn how to cry. We have to learn how to walk and crawl and eat and use our limbs and everything else. And as we do that, we gain confidence. We gain an ability that we know, okay, I don't have to think about that anymore. It just becomes automatic. And that continues on in life, walking, talking, going to school, learning how to pee. I mean, I'm obviously going through that with Jackson right now. He's 2.5 years old. So I'm watching all these lights come on. I'm watching him get his confidence. And what's really important is the fact that where you're at today doesn't define where you're going to be tomorrow. For me, you guys know my backstory. And if you haven't listened to that, go back to episode number 3. Really important. Talks about my history. And what's involved in that is I didn't have any confidence growing up. My mom called me literally stupid for most of my life. You can't do that right. You're stupid. What the fuck are you doing? Just all this negative shit. So I really didn't go up with any confidence. I mean, I got ridiculed for how I cleaned out litter boxes. I mean, if that gives you any idea. So it's no doubt and it's no wonder that when I started going to grade school, it was a challenge for me there to fit in also. So what happens to us when we lose our self-confidence, when we don't have self-confidence? We feel insecure. We feel afraid. We feel frustrated. We feel vulnerable. We feel exposed. We don't want to do the things we don't feel comfortable doing. So what do? We stay in our comfort zone, right? Can you imagine if you didn't, looking back in your life, that you didn't learn how to walk? You didn't know how to walk, but you just kept doing it and you kept doing it. And what happened? You got up, you fell down. You got up, you took a step, you fell down. You got up, you took 2 steps, you fell down. What happened when you tried to brush your teeth for the first time? What happened when you tried to go to the bathroom for the first time? What the point is that you did not give up. But something happened in us as little kids where we started to give up. We started not to believe in ourselves. And what happened? That's the fault of the parents and the teachers and the family members and society. They started placing judgments on us. They started saying, oh, you're not that good at that. Don't do that. You're not good at that. Stop that. You're stupid. You can't do those things. They just started ripping apart our self-confidence. Teachers, you'd raise your hand in the classroom. How many of you guys have done this? Oh, who knows the answer to this? Oh, I do. And then you say the answer and the teacher goes, oh, come on, Chris, really? That's all you got? So what does that do to us? Does that make me confident that the next time I'm going to raise my hand, I'm going to feel good? No, I don't raise my hand anymore. That same logic goes throughout our entire life. We do things, we get embarrassed, we feel vulnerable, we feel shy, we don't feel confident, so we stop doing those things and we stay in our comfort zone where we know we can do things. And the point of this show is to get you out of your comfort zone, to get you being unstoppable, to get you a new frame of mind, a new perspective on what you can do to accomplish the goals and the dreams that you have in your life. Today is the day, right? You can choose that. Now, hopefully you've listened to the other episodes because it's all building blocks. Everything builds on itself. So today, talking about confidence, the most important thing is that I want you to walk away taking care of the action items that I suggest for you and thinking about what it is that I share with you, because I'm here for you. I'm here for me as well. When I talk about these things, I talk about them in general, but I also talk about them because I need to hear them and you need to hear them. There's too many of us that are sitting back in our comfort zones and we're settling for stuff and we're settling for mediocrity when inside we have this yearning that we want to achieve more. But what do? We self-sabotage. We don't take those risks. We don't take those chances because we're afraid. We're afraid of failure. We're afraid of rejection. We're afraid of not measuring up. We're afraid of losing significance. So we stay in that zone. And then every once in a while we think about breaking out. Maybe we break out every once in a while and we try something and it doesn't work. Well, what the fuck? It didn't work. Oh, maybe I shouldn't do that anymore. My mom told me when I was a little kid, I shouldn't do that anymore if I'm not good at it. But also, if you had coaches, what did your coaches do? If you couldn't do something, your coaches drilled it into you and made you do it over and over and over again until you got it right. How do you become a great guitar player? You continue to practice and practice and practice. Again, you have to make that commitment. You have to make that judgment. You have to make that decision for yourself. Let me just tell you, number one important tip, in case you haven't got that from the other episodes, you're number one. You are number one. And no matter what happened in your past, no matter what happened yesterday, 20 years from now, back in the past, today is a brand new day and you have the opportunity to change that. You have the opportunity to start defending yourself. You have the opportunity to start taking risks and chances and get vulnerable, get real. Because here's what happens. Here's the recipe, guys. Here's the formula for getting confidence. It's really fucking simple. I subscribe to this. You do something. Well, number one, you decide to do something, right? That's one bit of confidence. And then you do something. And then perhaps you learn from that thing. And then you do something again. And then you build some more confidence. And then you do it again. And you learn something and you build some more confidence. But don't give up. Don't sit there and try something twice and go, oh, well, I guess I'm not that good at it. There's no excuse this day and age. If you want to get better at something, the resources are right there for you. Google and YouTube. It's free. Podcast, free. Library, free. I was just telling somebody there's really no excuse. If you own one of these things, it's called a cell phone. There is absolutely no fucking excuse. Yes, I said that. I'm the no excuses coach. There's no fucking excuse why you can't build your self-confidence overall. And there's no reason why you can't build your self-confidence in a specific area. And there's no reason. I mean, oh, I don't have the money. It's free. Go online and learn it. Become resourceful. But the choice is yours. If you want to sit there in your comfort zone for the rest of your life, guess what's going to happen? You're going to wake up one day and you're going to look back on your life and you're going to regret the shit out of it for the chances and the risks you didn't take while you were alive. You've heard me say this before, and I'm saying this to myself. We only get to live. We only get this one life. And so why not take it for everything that it's got? Perfect example. You guys know my story a little bit. So I started in public speaking and personal coaching and all this other stuff. And I got to a certain point where I was pretty successful and I was traveling the world speaking and doing coaching and whatnot. But then I suffered a setback. And that setback could have been a setup for a comeback, as Les Brown says. But unfortunately, I took it to heart. I took it as that maybe I'm just not that good at this stuff. Maybe I should just stick with my day job. Maybe, it's not that important. And so it sucked because what happens was I went and I did my first live event and it was great. It was awesome. And then afterwards, I immediately tried to book my second event. And what happened? I couldn't sell any tickets. And so I thought maybe the first event, all my friends were being nice to me and everything else. But I started having this self-doubt. I started having this negative self-talk. I started driving my confidence into the ground. Me, not anybody else. Everybody else believed in me, but I was just like giving up on myself because maybe I didn't want to do the work anymore. Maybe I didn't want to feel the pain and the hurt and the frustration and the aggravation. So I said, oh, I'll just go ahead and settle for a normal life. I'll just settle for what I've got, which is a great life. But it wasn't the passion in my heart. It wasn't the thing that drives me every single day. So I had to take a break from it, but here I am coming back from it. And, am I super confident? To a certain extent, I've got a different mindset now. I know, and I have to remind myself every single day that everything happens for a reason. That if I fall down, if I have a problem, if I don't get enough viewers, if I don't get enough responses on a post, that it's not personal. That maybe I did a poor job of promoting it, right? We have to look at the causes and the relationships to the things that we do and the outcomes to find out where we need to perfect it, where we need to change it. But oftentimes we sit there and we look at something like, oh yeah, I tried it 4 times and it didn't work. I'm probably not that good at it. Another thing that we listen to is we listen to other people. Now, other people, you've heard the saying, misery loves company, right? So people don't want us to get better. People don't want us to necessarily excel and get better and achieve our dreams. Because why? Because it makes them feel inferior. It makes them feel less than. It makes them feel like, oh shit, maybe I should be doing something. I mean, how many times have you gone to do something and your friends have said, oh, that's stupid. Why are you doing that? Oh, whatever. That's ridiculous. Life is to be lived. We're here for a reason. We're here to feel. We're here to experience. We're here to try. We're here to leave a legacy. So it's up to you to decide that you're number one. If you're going to listen to what everybody else said about you, all your past experiences when you were in grade school, when you were cheerleading, when you were in football, when you're doing whatever, where your confidence got kicked, where you decided to shut up, where you decided to play it safe, it's up to you in the same way you decided to play it safe to get straight and get real with yourself and start making changes today. Because like I said before, and you hear me say it all the time, regrets. You need leverage. Now, here's an example I want you to take. Now, if you listen to one of the podcasts, I probably should do a better job of knowing which podcast it is, but I did a podcast on eulogy about creating your legacy. That is so important. If you have not done that or listened to that episode, go back and listen to that, because it is the building block for what I talk about every single time, because it all, again, builds on itself. So if you know your legacy and you know where you want to end up and you have a clear vision of that and you have a vision board, you have to make decisions every single day that's going to support achieving that. Because listen to me, I'm 50 years old. Time goes by like that. It does. It evaporates. I have more leverage now than I ever did because my time is limited, right? And that's scary. And we don't want to think about that, but that's the truth. Like I told you on a previous podcast, I think his name is Jesse Itzler, said it so profoundly. He turned 50 and he said, the average person lives 78 years. I got 28 years left. Now on paper, 28 years sounds like quite a bit, but when you think about it in terms of 28 summers, that becomes a little bit more impactful, at least for me. Plus, I have a 2.5-year-old son who I want to set a great example for. I don't want him to one day say, Daddy, you gave up on your dreams. Why are you telling me to go for mine? I don't want to be that say as I do, or do as I say, not as I do. I don't want to be that guy. That's incongruent. That's bullshit. I want my son to see what it takes to invest energy, what it is to struggle, what it is to keep pounding the pavement, what it is to keep trying and learning and dedicating myself and not giving up and not parking, right? I did that. It didn't work. So now I'm back and I'm going to keep doing it. God's honest truth. This podcast, I procrastinated on it for almost a year because I wanted it to be perfect. I wanted it to be this and I wanted it to be that. So I didn't even do anything. For what? This is a process. Anything you do is going to be a process and you're going to get better at it every single time. That's what my goal is. By episode 20, perhaps I'm going to just be able to flip on the switch and be like, hey guys, what's up? How are we doing? So it is awkward for me. I'm sitting here in my studio talking to a camera. I have no feedback. I have nothing else. This is just a stream of consciousness coming through, raw and unscripted, right? And it's coming through to you. So it's your choice whether you want to hear this. It's your choice whether at the end of this, you're going to sit down and take action on the exercises and the suggestions that I have and the words that I've said. Are you going to go back and listen to the episodes that you haven't listened to? That's important. If you're not doing something that's important, then why are you here? Oh, I'm listening to this. I'm trying to do this. Either do it or don't. I mean, it's that simple. But don't wake up at the end of the day in your life and think about the regrets, because that's going to really suck. And I've talked to older people and they regret a lot. And that, I think, is one of the loneliest, worst ways to die, is to sit there and think about shoulda, coulda, woulda. Oh man, now I realize that my time is up. Why didn't I jump out of the plane? Why didn't I go for that job interview? Why didn't I tell my parents I didn't want to be in the family business? Why didn't I get divorced? Why didn't I tell people I was gay? Why didn't I go after being a sports athlete or an actor or a ballerina? Why? Because everybody else was telling me it was a stupid idea, or I failed at it, or I sucked at it. But if it's a passion in your heart and it stays with you, then you have to commit to it. And that's what we're here today to talk about. So number one, if you haven't done it already, go do your eulogy. So listen to episode, whatever it is, and do your eulogy. And number two, I want you to reframe all the past experiences. Again, they didn't happen to you, they happened for you. And you have to cut your parents and society and teachers a break, because yeah, they were supposed to be the experts, but guess what? They were just doing the best they could with what they had. They didn't have the technology. They didn't have the books and the videos and the podcasts and the resources to become better. They didn't know they had to become better. That's a point of life that you have to do. You have to take responsibility for that. And unfortunately, that's the role we got. I mean, like I said before, I was told I was stupid. I didn't think I had any confidence whatsoever to be able to do anything I could do. But ultimately, I did. And when I took responsibility and I decided, number one, I'm number one. So that's your first tip. You have to decide you're number one. Over your kids, over your parents, over your spouse, over everybody else, you have to decide that you're no longer going to accept mediocrity. You're no longer going to settle. Okay, so that's number one. Put yourself first. Number two, set some goals. I'm going to be coming out with another podcast specifically about goal setting. But what I really want you to do is just think about goals. You have to write these things down. And for example, here's an exercise. I want you to take 3 areas where you want to get more confidence. I want you to take those 3 things and write them down. And then underneath each one of them, I want you to write down 3 actions that you can take. And then underneath that, for those 3 actions, I want to say 3 more actions to achieve those. So let's use an example. I was helping somebody out the other day. They said, I don't feel confident talking to people. I said, okay, that's cool. And I said, what actions could you take to improve your confidence level talking to people? And they said, well, I could probably go to networking events. And I said, good one. I said, what else? They said, I could probably get a book on relationships and maybe become more familiar with what components of communication and relationships are. And I said, great. And I said, what's another one? And they said, I don't know. And I said, what about just saying hi to somebody? What about just saying hi to strangers? So we came up with this plan. We said, okay, number 1, networking events. Number 2, read. Number 3, say hi to people. Then I said, okay, for number 1, networking events. What are the 3 things you need to do to make that happen? This is part of goal setting, actually. He said, well, I have to find a networking event. And I said, good. That's 1. I have to go. And I'm like, yeah. And then what do you have to do? Talk. So I have to find a networking event. I have to go and I have to talk. That's for that one. And the second one is read a book. So what 3 things do you have to do to read a book? You have to pick a book. You have to buy the book. You have to read the book. 4 things. You have to implement the book. Okay. So you got networking, book, then say hi to people. So for the book, you buy the book, you read the book, you implement the book. You know how to read, you know how to understand. If you can't afford a book, look at it online, go to the library. No excuses. Number 3, say hi to people. What are the 3 things you need to do for that? Say hi. Well, here's my advice. Decide you want to say hi to somebody. That's really important. But number 1, put a smile on your face, say hi, and walk. That's all you have to do. Do that 5 times every day to complete strangers. Just walk up and say hi. I am famous for that. I always say hi to people. It's just a way I just break out of my skin because we all sit there in our silent comfort zones and we sit there and we just like, oh, I don't want to say hi. What if they don't say hi back? I mean, how many times have I heard that? I say hi to somebody. They didn't say hi back. Well, what the fuck? You're really taking that personal? That's ridiculous. So there's an example. So find 3 areas that you want to get confident in. Take and find 3 things you can do with that, and then 3 things you could do to get those going. It's a simple plan. It doesn't take rocket science to figure it out. It just takes the fact that you decide to do it. It takes the fact that you start doing it. And again, it's not going to be perfect. Maybe you say hi to 3 people. Oh, I didn't get to 5. Okay, and then tomorrow say hi to 4 people. And then the next day say hi to 5 people. And then before you know it, you're saying hi to everybody. And before you know it, you're talking to the people behind the donut counter. And before you know it, you're talking to people in line. And you're just feeling confident. You're not worried about what they're going to say. You're not worried about how they're going to look at you. Oh, I have a mole on my face. I don't feel comfortable talking to somebody. Who cares about the fucking mole? And if you don't like the mole that much, go get it taken off. Guess what? You can do it. It happens. I had a mole up above my eyebrow one time. It's gone. So when you think about that, that's what creates confidence, is doing things over and over again and just understanding that the process is going to be uncomfortable. The process is going to be uncertain. But you just have to see that big picture. What's that legacy? How are you going to get to that legacy? How are you going to get to that life that you want, that you deserve, if you're not willing to take the risks and the chances and the opportunities that you have today? What's going to change? Nothing's going to change. I talk about playing the someday game. Oh, someday when the kids are out, I'll do this. Or someday when so-and-so, or someday when I retire, or someday. If you're playing the someday game, you're fooling the fuck out of yourself. That's ridiculous. You could die tomorrow. Why not live today? There was 12 people that were shot yesterday in Virginia Beach. I think about that. I think about the life that they had. I think about the regrets that they might have. You know, did they live to their fullest? Were they worried about everything? You could die tomorrow, so why not live today? Why not leave a kick-ass legacy? Go out fighting and having fun and doing what you need to do. And on a high note, instead of just getting there and going, well, I wish I would have done something different. Oh, well. I mean, that sucks. I've seen people do it. That's the biggest fear for me. And that's why I do this, because I want to share the message. I want to spread the message, and I want to create this movement so that we all take action and we become stronger and more confident, and we stand up for ourselves. We don't let laws get passed that we don't agree with. We don't let things happen at work that we don't agree with. We don't let indiscretions outside in society happen that we don't agree with. We stand up. We don't let people pick on us. We don't let people take control of us. We stand up. We decide that we're number 1. We don't let all the past opinions and all the past failures and mistakes define us as somebody who is insignificant or unsuccessful. We look at all of that and we sit there and say, okay, what was that supposed to teach me? What am I supposed to learn? How am I supposed to take all of that and digest it and spit it out back as bullets? Because I'm here to tell you that's what I'm doing. This is not the easiest thing to do. Doing podcasts and doing coaching and writing and doing all these things, there's a certain vulnerability because I have an expectation that I want people to succeed. I want people to take a hold of that information. And so I have to not look at the numbers. I have to not really care about those things right now. And I just have to focus on what it is that I can do for you and what I can do for me. So I'm living my dream. I'm doing this, right? I'm sitting here creating a podcast. How many people want to do a podcast? Oh, I don't know how to do it. Just fucking Google it and do it. Just pick up your cell phone and hit sound recorder and start talking. Whatever it is you want to do, you can do it. You just have to decide. You need the leverage. And here's another exercise for you. Much like the eulogy exercise, I do this exercise with my coaching clients. So rather than looking at the life you want, right? You have your vision board, you have your goals set, you got a good foundation and everything, and you know where you want to end up, and it's realistic, right? So let's just take it in a different way. Let's just look at our life right now. Just imagine where you're going to be 20 years from now if you stay the same. Where are you going to be? Are you going to look back on the last 20 years and think, oh man, I should have taken advantage of that? Maybe you're going to be miserable. Maybe you're going to be, unhealthy. Maybe you're going to be unemployed. Are you taking responsibility for your career and how everything is getting digitized and roboticized and all that other shit? Are you taking responsibility? Are you going to end up homeless? Do you have enough money in your savings account? What is going on? If you continue to do what you've always done, you're going to continue to get what you've always got. You guys know the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Maybe if I do it this time wearing a different color shirt, it's going to be different. It's not going to be different. You have to change what you fucking do. And let me just tell you, here's another tip. You're never going to feel like it. You're never going to feel like it. You just have to get up and go. Here's a story. Beautiful representation of all of this. I was listening to the podcast, Ed Milet. Great podcast. Mylette, I think. But he had a guy on the show and he talked about his confidence building necessarily. He wanted to write a book, but he didn't have the funds to write a book. He was going to school to become a medical doctor because his family wanted him to, but he really wanted to write this book, but he didn't have the money. And so somehow he got an invitation to The Price is Right. It's a game show. So he had never been on The Price is Right. He'd never seen The Price is Right. And he was going to be going to the show the next day. Now you want to talk about tenacity. You want to talk about drive. You want to talk about somebody who figured it the fuck out. So this guy studied all night. Instead of for his test that he had to do to become a doctor, he studied all night how to get on The Price is Right. And you know what? He went down there the next day and he did what he had to do. You should really listen to the interview. Wherever I post this, eventually I'll put the link in there because it's really impactful. I was listening to it while I was driving and I could not stop listening to it because it's just evidence that you show up. You just go for it. So he went to The Price is Right and he started doing these things and he was making an ass out of himself, but ultimately he got recognized. Ultimately he got up to the thing. He had no idea what things cost. So he was listening to the audience. Long story short, he got up to the end thing, the final showcase. He threw out a stupid number for the final purchase price of the showcase. And the audience was yelling all sorts of numbers. And the other lady, I guess, guessed her number wrong, but he got the number right. So he wound up winning the showcase. He got a boat. He sold the boat, used that money to write his book. And now he wrote a book interviewing all these famous people. So what did he do? He just decided, I'm not going to go down the path that my parents want me to go. I'm going to take risks. I'm going to look like an idiot. But guess what? If I get to the pot of gold, or when I get to the pot of gold, it's going to be worth it. And now the guy's on one of the most successful podcasts in the world. Just because he decided, he went on there and took responsibility for himself. He took responsibility for his actions. He didn't sit back. He didn't wait. He didn't go, oh, well, maybe I'll get a job and I'll start doing that. He said, I want the fucking money now. How do I do it? And he went and did it. And that's what we have to do. We have to show up. We have to just get off our ass. When we don't feel like it, we just have to go out there and do it. If you don't want to end up unhealthy, guess what? You have to get up every morning and go for a walk. It's not that hard. I don't want to get up. It's a half hour early. Then fucking be unhealthy and don't bitch about it. God, that pisses me off when people bitch about shit that they don't do anything about. That just drives me fucking bananas. But anyway, that's probably for another show. So the important thing is just to see where you want to end up and start progressively making those goals. I just gave you a simple goal setting tip. Identify 3 things, then identify 3 actions you can take from that and build 3 actions you can take on that. Is that reasonable? Is that doable? Is that too tough? It's not. But once you start doing it, like I said at the beginning of the show, you do something, you get a little bit of confidence. Just because you decided, I'm going to go do this, you get a little bit of confidence. Then you go do it. And maybe you do it well. And you go, holy shit, I wish I would have done this before. Or maybe you learn something. Okay, what do I need to learn from that? What do I need to do? Then you go and you do that. And then you do it again. Then you build more confidence and more confidence, right? That's what I do. That's how I've gotten to where I've gotten. You look back on my life and you look at the story of it, I should not be a confident person. But because I stood up for myself and I just slowly started taking risks and I stopped listening to the people that didn't matter. Let me give you another bonus tip. If somebody's giving you advice, they better be more fucking successful than you. Don't take advice from people just because they're your boss or your parents or, whatever else it is. If they have the life that they want and it's a kick-ass life, then listen to them. But if it's not, don't. Just do what you need to do. Because when I think about my past, if I wouldn't have made that decision that day in the motel to move on with my life, God knows where I would be. I'd either be dead or in jail. So, and through that, being a 7th grade dropout, I have a master's degree now. Do you think that was easy? Do you think that was easy for me? I mean, shit, I'm stupid, remember? And I believed that. And I even told people that. But how do you get unstupid? I don't know if that's a thing, but how do you get smart? You study, you apply yourself, you sacrifice. So often we don't want to sacrifice. We want the short-term gratification, hoping and praying and wishing that everything else is going to change when it isn't. I mean, how much TV do you need to watch? How much sports do you need to watch? How many video games do you need to play? Whatever your addiction is, whatever your vice is that gets you away from actually facing reality and doing what you need to do, stop it. Yeah, it's going to be uncomfortable. It's awkward. Mel Robbins, you guys have heard me talk about her. The 5-second rule. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom. Do it. And then you'll be proud of yourself and you start gaining momentum. You start getting that energy. You start building that confidence where you want to do more. I mean, case in point, you guys have heard me talk about this. I started this podcast not when I'm feeling my best or doing my best. I have problems concentrating. I have problems articulating my thoughts. You guys see me do this. This is raw. This is unscripted. So, but I'm going through this process because I know eventually as I keep doing it, I gain momentum and I'm starting to gain more and more momentum, more momentum. See? Maybe Shane will edit that out. Maybe he won't. But my point is that I just keep going and I've got a drive and a passion and I've got an understanding that, yeah, numbers are important, all those other things. But as long as I'm going for it, eventually something can kick. But if it doesn't, at the end of the day, I can look back on my life and say, I didn't give up. I didn't park. I didn't play it safe. I didn't wait. I didn't hope, wish, and pray that everything would come my way without doing the work, without making the sacrifice, without making the investment. If you don't have money, get resourceful. I mean, there's amazing opportunities out there. You can drive for Uber. You can drive for Lyft. You can go deliver groceries. You can go pick up dog poop if you wanted to. Go walk your neighborhood and ask people for $10 a week. You'll pick up their dog poop. You get 100 people. You get 10 people. What is that? $100 a week? What could you do with $100 a week? And don't give me any excuses about time either. My schedule is so fucking packed, but I'm making time. What I'm doing now is I'm really focusing on my health so I can take maybe an extra half hour where I don't need to sleep as much. And I take that half hour every single day. And I dedicate it to learning and reading and doing. What does that amount to? You think about 365 days a year. If you can't find 1 hour every single day, that's 365 hours. Can you imagine if you didn't know how to speak in public, you took 365 hours and you just did that every single day and you went out there and spoke in public? There is no way you would not be more comfortable being a speaker. But we look at the enormity of things. We look at, oh my God, that's so tough and that's going to take so much time. And oh, look, shiny bubble. Or look, my cell phone. Oh, how much time can I spend on my fucking cell phone? I seriously, this is a side note, but I wish cell phone towers would just drop. I wish cell phones would like die for a week and people go back to living their lives and doing the things that they know they need to do to progress instead of getting locked on their screen time. That's a little side note. Put screen time on your phone and see how much time you're spending on that thing. If you spend more time on your phone or you spend more time on TV or spend more time on doing shit that doesn't move you and get you to a new level, then that's what the end result you're going to be with your life, right? You have to take action today. You have to take this seriously. This is not bullshit. Time will run out. It's going by like that. So if you're 20 years old going, well, he's 50 years old. I'm going to say this again. It goes by like that. I remember yesterday that I was 27 like it was that. And I look back on my 30s and 40s and I was still accomplishing a lot. I tend to get more done in a day than most people get done in a week. And I still beat myself up for how much I don't get done. But I look back on those years, I wish I would have taken this more seriously. I wish I would have invested myself to get a coach, to kick my ass, to hold me accountable, to do these things, because I probably could have the dream that I want right now, which is personal and financial freedom. I want to be able to get up every morning and take care of my son. I want to get up every morning and do what I love to do, which is helping people like you. I want to continue this passion. I want to go out and speak again and go be on stages and help move people and connect with people. I want to write books. I want to create videos and curriculums. I want to start a nonprofit organization. I want to start a school where we actually teach kids how to learn life skills and not just to do fucking quantum physics and math and other bullshit that's not going to matter at the end of the day. So I have these dreams. So I have a lot of leverage of why I want to do these right now. And that takes confidence. That takes courage. That takes vulnerability. That takes tenacity. That takes passion. That takes fire. Can you tell that I'm fired up about this? Because I'm telling this to myself too. Chris, stop waiting. Stop thinking. Stop being a perfectionist. Just do it. See? Because I watch these things. I listen to the podcast and I watch this video back. By the way, if you want to watch the videos of these, if you are listening to them on podcast, you can go to my YouTube channel. Just go to ChristopherRausch.com, RAUSCH, ChristopherRausch.com, my YouTube link right there. The shows are going to be posted. And also I'm doing blogs that's going to have different information than the videos and the podcast. So I'm trying to hit every option of what you desire for education. So if you like to read blogs, that's great. There's going to be blogs. If you like to watch videos, you can watch this on video. If you want to listen to this on audio, listen to it on audio. And I do another thing, and I do this for myself. If something is engaging me and getting me inspired, I go back and I read it and I listen to it again and again, because comprehension rates, focus rates are really tough. So it's important. You take this to heart. You take action on it. You take action on it today. Make the decision. I'm going to be number one. Make the decision to start taking risks and responsibility. Stop listening to people that don't have your best interest in mind. Get a coach, get a mentor, get somebody who will hold you accountable and push you to a higher level, whether you want to or not. That is super important. And start taking action and building your self-confidence and creating the life that you want and you deserve, and not living in yesterday and not thinking about the worries and troubles of tomorrow, because all we have are moments. I keep that on my wrist a lot of times just to remind me to be in the moment, because God knows what can happen 10 minutes from now. But if I died 10 minutes from now, I would feel good because I left doing what I wanted to do and what I'm meant to do. And that's inspire you to become truly unstoppable, kick-ass unstoppable, to rock your freak flag, be who you are. Black, white, straight, gay, fat, short, Republican, Democrat, whatever fucking label you want to put on it, we're all the same. We all want significance and love, and to create a life that we deserve, not a life we're told to live, not a life we think we're destined to live based on past experiences and faults and failures and mistakes and all of their shit. You know, if you've got an addiction, go get it treated. You know you have an addiction. Stop fucking doing it. Actually, the month of June, I'm not drinking Jack Daniels. Not that it's an addiction, but it's just something I'm doing. I'm like, hard alcohol now plays a rough role in my life. As much as I like drinking it, it's not getting me closer to my goals. And you guys have heard me say this before. Here's another tip. Ask yourself, and this is super important. This is like really stupid fucking easy. Put on your mirror, on your dashboard, is this, whatever you're about to do, getting me closer to or further from my stated goals? So if you want to become healthier and you're about to eat a cupcake, unless you've earned the right to have that cupcake and you busted your ass and you can have that and that's a reward, that's fine. But if you're going to eat 3 cupcakes and still bitch about what it is that you're unhealthy about, you have to take responsibility for that. So ask yourself, is this getting me closer to or further from my stated goal? And if it's not getting you closer to, then fucking throw it away. It's easy. It's a choice. There's nobody holding a gun to your head to take that drink, to smoke that cigarette, to do whatever. That's your choice. It's your choice to turn the TV remote off. Maybe take the batteries out of the TV remote. How do you start the TV? They don't have any fucking buttons anymore. You have to do these things. Otherwise, you're going to wake up one day and go, oh, man, I remember this guy in a bandana, this kick-ass guy. He was telling me to take my shit seriously and trying to give me points of advice, but I kind of took him seriously and I kind of didn't. I just didn't know what to do. But that's on you. This is from my heart to yours. I'm not selling you anything. I'm not doing anything else. This is out of the goodness of my soul that I'm bringing this to you, because I care about you. I care about myself. We're in a world right now where we're scared and we don't want to do anything. We don't want to hurt people's feelings. Well, fuck people. If you can't hurt somebody's feelings, right? You can allow somebody to hurt your feelings. Again, going back to the original episode, book Man's Search for Meaning. If you've read it, then you can understand nobody can tell you how to feel. Go back and listen to all the other episodes and do the fucking work. I promise you, you will get confidence. There's no other thing that you can do. If you continue to do the work, you will get confidence and you will get stronger and you will become kick-ass. All right. So little housekeeping. I love you guys. Call me or at least email me. Actually, you know what? Call me 714-308-6765. You could call me if you're ready to take action. If you're ready to become a coaching client, if you're interested in coming on to a group coaching program, I'm going to be offering later this year. I'm taking this seriously. I'm getting back into coaching one-on-one, and I'm also going to be doing group coaching. So there's my phone number, 714-308-6765. Or just send me a text and say, Chris, thank you. Just don't blow up my phone. But anyways, if you really want to reach me, Christopher@ChristopherRausch.com. Of course, go to the website, ChristopherRausch.com, RAUSCH. I'm going to be updating it, revising it. But again, listen to these shows, share these shows, do the work, make the commitment, put yourself first. I love you guys. Thank you all so much for the support. I really, truly appreciate it. And again, let me know how this is coming across to you. Let us know what is important to you. Of course, you can go to the Facebook group page I've created also, Raw and Unscripted. You go there and we can talk about these shows. These shows premiere live every Tuesday night, actually 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So it's a live thing. We can chat as the show is going on. You can ask me questions. I'm going to be right there with you. It's the investment, the dedication that I'm making to make sure this happens for you. All right. So until next time, I love you guys. Peace out. Stay kick ass. Stay classy, San Diego.